Hi, I just have to figure out lighting. Give me a second. Why is the lighting weird? Okay, maybe I'll talk like this. Okay, so um, we're back in Bipolar Survival Guide, Chapter 2, Understanding the Experience of Bipolar Disorder. And there's a couple pages I want to read, and then I want to read a couple pages from, no, just like a paragraph from Touch with Fire by K. Jamison Redfield. Okay. Wonder if I can do anything to help this. Just give me a minute. No, that doesn't do it. I still don't know. Still don't know why the lighting is no good. Well, at least it's filming. Okay, so why should it take so long for a person with a disorder to come to the attention of a mental health health professional? In part, the answer is that behaviors we summarize with the term bipolar disorder can look quite differently depending on your perspective. But even when people agree on how a person's behavior deviates from normal, they have very different beliefs about what causes the person to be this way. Consider Lauren, who is a bipolar disorder. Lauren is 28. So Lauren, a 28-year-old mother of 3, describes herself as an exercise junkie. In the past 3 weeks, a typical day went like this. Once she got the kids off to school, she rushed to the gym where she worked out on an exercise bicycle for up to 2 hours. Then she grabbed a quick yogurt and went hiking for the most of the afternoon. She would pick up her kids from school, make dinner for them, and spend the majority of the evening on a Stairmaster. But she did not consult her psychiatrist until by the end of the second week. She had become exhausted, unable to function, and at this point, she left the children with their grandparents and spent several days sleeping. She admitted to having had several cycles like that. I just got a brainstorm. I just got a brainstorm. If we move here, and here. Oh gosh, I don't know why it's like that. Okay. So I like when they give examples of the person. This is another quote from her. My ex-husband is of very little help, and I don't have many friends who can help out. Sometimes I push myself too hard, but I always bounce back. Her mother feels that she is irresponsible and self-centered, would rather be exercising than taking care of her kids, and questions whether her children are getting enough guidance and structure. Lauren's doctor has diagnosed her as having bipolar 2 disorder. Okay. So these are some questions for someone who is bipolar, a friend, a relative, and certainly this information would be good to go back to your doctor. How do I experience swings in my mood? Are they similar to the ways others with bipolar disorder experience them? How do I understand my own behavior? How is my understanding different from the way others perceive me? How do I myself see myself differently from the way my doctor sees me? What kinds of problems have arisen from these different perceptions? I'm not having any luck. I have to ask my nephew. Okay. In a manic high state, people experience different combinations of the following: elated or euphoric mood, excessive happiness or expansiveness, irritable mood, excessive anger, and touchiness, a decreased need for sleep, grandiosity, an inflated sense of themselves and their abilities, increased talkativeness, racing thoughts, or jumping from one idea to another, an increase in activity and energy levels, changes in thinking, attention, and perception, and impulsive, reckless behavior. These episodes alternate. Now I lost my place. I lost my place. I found it. These episodes all alternate with intervals in which a person becomes depressed, sad, blue, or down in the dumps, loses interest in things he or she ordinarily enjoys, loses weight and appetite, feels fatigue, has difficulty sleeping, feels guilty and bad about him or herself, has trouble concentrating on making decisions, and often feels like committing suicide. Episodes of the mania or depression can last anywhere from days to months. So that's something we have to keep in mind. Uh, some people switch polarities in the middle of an episode from depressed to manic or from manic to mixed. Um, they start needing less and less sleep and feel giddy or mildly irritable, hypomania, delusions, beliefs that are irrational, hallucinations, hearing voices or seeing things, or severe anxiety. This is going to mention medicines, but I don't know much about this. So if you're the person or you're a relative or your friend and you're going with somebody to go to the doctors, you might want to have knowledge of some of these. Mood stabilizers, lithium carbonate, divaloprex sodium, which is Depakote, or lamotrigine, which is Lamictal. A typical antipsychotics are Seroquel, Risperdal, and Abilify. Anti-anxiety, Klonopin, Ativan, or Temestal. Antidepressants, Zoloft, Paxil, Wellbutrin, Celexa, and that's it. This comes under different perspectives on mania and depression. An observer, such as a family member, usually focuses on the behavior which he or she may describe as too outspoken, boisterous, verbally hostile, dangerous to yourself or others, or impulsive in ways that negatively affect others. For example, spending or investing your money suddenly. Your doctor is usually attuned to whether from your normal state, baseline, and taking into account such things as whether the symptoms have lasted for a period of time, how intense they are, and whether they cause impairment in your functioning. And this is a 30-year-old woman with bipolar 1. How can I ever make plans or count on anything or anybody? I never know how I'm going to feel. I can be up and happy and full of ideas, but then the littlest thing sets me off. I'll drink a cup of tea and it doesn't match my expectation of how hot it should be. And I just react. I cuss, scream. I'm bitterly volatile. I'm afraid of my own moods. Okay. I don't know where my marker went, but I have more, but I'd rather just read the quote from Jamison Redfield. Because, okay, this is her book about creativity, poets, famous people that can make somebody feel like, hey, I can have a life even with a mental disorder. But I don't think we're going to go further than this today. I'm going to find her autobiography and we'll occasionally read from that. So, the impassioned moods, shattered reason, and artistic temperament can be welded, remains a fiercely controversial that a destructive, often psychotic, and frequently lethal disease, such as manic depression, depressive illness, might convey certain disadvantages, such as heightened imaginative powers, intensified emotional responses, and increased energy. That conjures up simplistic notions of the mad genius, bringing with it images of mildness and unaesthetic reductionism, as well as concerns about making into disease something that assumes vital human differences in style, perception, and temperament. Indeed, labeling as manic depressive anyone who is usually creative, accomplished, energetic, intense, moody, or eccentric both diminishes the notion of individuality within the arts and, trivializes a very serious, often deadly illness. There are other reasons for such concerns. Excesses of psychoanalytic spec- speculation, along with other abuses of psychobiography, have invited well deserved ridicule due to the extraordinary advances in genetics, neuroscience, and psychopharmacology. Have invited well deserved ridicules due to the extraordinary advances in genetic. Oh, I just read that. Much of modern psychiatric thought and clinical practice has moved away from the earlier influences of psychoanalysis and toward a biological perspective. Some fear that the marked swing from psycho, yeah, I'm just not pronouncing it right, to psychopharmacology is too much, too soon, and that there exists of similar entrenchment of ideas, perspectives, the romantic and expressive language into the standardization of words and phrases necessary for scientific psychiatry has tempted many to dismiss out of hand much of the modern biological psychiatry. Almost by definition, the idea of using formal psychiatric diagnostic criteria in the arts has been an anathema. In any event, biological psychiatrists have displayed relatively little interest in studying mood disorders in artists, writers, or musicians. Certainly, those in the arts have been less than enthusiastic about being seen through a biological or a diagnostic grid. Those in the best position to link the two worlds, scholars of creativity, only recently have begun to address the problem. Okay, so that may be the last time we hear from this book for a long time. I apologize about the lighting. I'll get better. Have a nice night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.